Good morning, good evening. Welcome to the third episode of Tech Bites, a weekly podcast series brought to you by Tech Canvas. In this episode, we have an interview with Sony about how did she prepare and clear the ECBA certification. In the second part, we have a talk by my colleague Priya on what is data analytics. From this episode, we are adding a new section on a simple trivia question. The answer will be provided towards the end of the episode, so keep listening. This week's trivia question is about the term software engineering. When did the software industry start to use this term?
Hi all, a very warm welcome from Tech Canvas team to the session. In this session, we will have fruitful discussion with candidates who are working as a business analyst. We thought to have their experience shared with you and with few other business analyst aspirants who are listening to the session. I am Rashmi, a senior business analyst having around 14 years of IT experience. I am an agile practitioner and I coach business analyst aspirants. All right. So for today, we have Sony Suchandra, who is a business analyst and is an ECBA certified. Welcome, Sony, to the session.
Thank you, Rashmi. Thanks for the opportunity.
Okay. Next question for you is, how and why did you decide to go for ECBA certification?
Okay. So first, from the learning perspective, I really want to learn how the terminology, like how actual things works. So I have undertaken this exam. And secondly, it is like an add-on for my interview. So when, as a beginner, it's really helpful for a beginner who wants to pursue as a business analyst. So they really need to know some of the terminologies. And if the interviewer asking is some of industrial terms, they really want to know. So that's the main purpose of my taking of ECBA exam. It's really like an add-on for me when in giving an interview, sir. So that I am on the pace with the interview, like, okay, we want to let them know that we have a core and depth knowledge of how the business analysis works in everyday life.
Yeah, so more like, domain specific work, how it is working. For that, you prepared yourself for ECBA. Is that so?
Yes. So, what is meant by sprint? What is retrospective meetings, and how the RACA matrix works? Like the stakeholders are really important. How the elicitation and collaboration does, and what is meant by requirement lifecycle management. All this, like they'll definitely ask in an interview, like everything. So, in
Understand.
order, yeah, everything is there in the paper guide. So it really helps for every beginner.
Yeah, so it's more like speaking the same kind of business analysis language when you are working as a business analyst, so that
Yes.
business and the client and all the stakeholders are they are understanding the same language. Correct,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Sony,
In
can
order to
you
be in the pace. Yeah, that's all.
right, yeah.
Mm.
So can you tell us about your preparation you did for ECBA certification exam?
I gave a number of simulation exams. I have taken like Tech Canvas exams, like many other exams, like many I gave, almost like 10 to 20 I have given, because it's more important to give a practice test, because in the first I have scored like really very low. I thought like I might not be cracking, but giving more and more exams, and also like going to the paper guide, like give a brief, go through the brief debug guide, and then giving exams, and then again retrospecting the things, how where I have did a mistake. It really helps. Give as many as more practice tests you can. That's all I can say.
Okay. So how much Tech Canvas preparation helped you in this?
So yeah, the exam, they have provided the number of simulation questions. It really helped me, like about yeah, more than like 60%. Because at the end, like you have to clear the exam, right? So instead of my preparation, it's always about like how much the questions are asking. It's the same questions from the web guide you'll be getting. So it really helped me to crack my ECPA, the
Okay.
questions. Yes.
I understand. Yeah. So, yeah, Sony, what was the most difficult part of the preparation?
Preparation. I really didn't face any challenge because I have scheduled my timings like, okay, for 2 hours I have to go through this and do at least like one to two tests, like for 10 questions would
Okay.
be fine every day.
Okay. So we'll keep this question aside because this will help the as a tip and tricks to the aspirants for ECBA certification.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so let us go move on to the next question.
Hmm.
Regarding this ECBA certification, what was the exam difficult? What type of questions are part of the exam? Can you
Yes,
just
the
yeah.
exam, like really, it's yeah, it was a pretty difficult, I can say. Like after giving an exam, I thought I might not be getting through it, but like I have really scored almost 80% of the questions. So I'll not be getting a result, but yeah, I have concluded that okay, all my questions are right. So basic 20% they'll be asking for the from the requirements life cycle management. There are BBOC guidelines. You can find the knowledge areas. So 20% questions cover from the requirements lifecycle management, and 20% from the illustration collaboration, and rest all take the same. So that's it. Focusing on the main knowledge areas, it would be really helpful to crack as many as questions. The
Right.
two, yes, the two knowledge areas: the requirements lifecycle management, illustration and collaboration, and requirement
Okay.
analysis and design definition. These three areas focus on mainly these three knowledge areas.
Okay. Okay. And how about technique section?
Techniques, yes, I didn't receive like, I think less than like 10 questions, I think.
Okay. So is there
Yes,
any passing percentage for this ECBA certification?
yes, of course. I think like more than 70%. You have to,
Okay.
you have to get
Around
through that. Yes,
70%. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
And how did the certification help you in becoming a business analyst? Do you see a change uh, after you are certified as a ECBA?
Yes, of course. Like I would say, like the certification, apart from the interviewing perspective, yes, it's like a add-on for in every resume. So, and then like knowledge perspective, it's really, really helpful for every individual in day-to-day life, like when they are pursuing as a business analyst, with the stakeholders and with the peers and all. As a beginner,
Okay,
I'm saying yes, for a
right,
beginner, yes.
right, right. And finally, any tips and tricks you want to share with the ECBA aspirants here?
Yes, the first main thing, give as many tests as you can and go through the web guide like maybe like 2 to 3 times. Give not like in depth, maybe once a reading you can go in depth, and second or third time you just give a brief and give that more number of tests, and always do check the answers where you are wrong. It really helps. And if you face like any questions you have answered wrong, go to this the knowledge area, respective knowledge area, and go through the knowledge area again, and then give the exam. So I could say on that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, it's quite insightful to the aspirants here. I hope
Yes.
that everybody can, take help from your discussion. And
Sure.
I hope this session was help to others. And thanks, Sony. Thanks so much for
Yeah.
being with us.
Mhm.
And
Thank you
to the
very much.
aspirants,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
And to the aspirants, for any details, you can contact us at info@techcanvas.com, or you can contact us on the number 022 401 55175. Thanks, Sony, once
Yeah.
again.
Thank you for the time. Yeah. See you.
Bye.
In this talk, we will explore more about data analytics. But before delving into the topic, let us consider an example that I'm sure you all must have come across at some time. Say, suppose you buy some fiction books from Amazon, you ask Alexa to look up a recipe, and at the same time buy some goods from Amazon Fresh. I'm sure some suggestions on cookbooks may crop up on your Amazon page. So basically, Amazon combined data from different areas and made a suggestion. This is the power of Amazon's recommendation system. Amazon is basically here creating a personalized store for each customer, and it is based on their interests and previous purchasing history. So each customer's Amazon page looks different because of this personalization. I'm sure you must have seen such recommendations on your Amazon page as well. So what does Amazon do? So Amazon basically uses item-to-item collaborative filtering, which matches users' purchased items to other similar items. It then combines them into a recommendation list. And because the algorithm recommends highly correlated similar items, the recommendation quality is excellent. Now, say suppose a customer is exploring books on machine learning, and say he buys books A, B, and C. So an algorithm will calculate the similarity score of other similar books and prepare a recommendation list. The top, say, 5 recommendations will be shown to the customer under the tag inspired by your purchases. This is helping people buy similar products without investing time in searching. So it is not surprising to read that this recommendation system is responsible for Amazon's 35% of the total revenue, as quoted by McKinsey. When we access different websites or shop online, send WhatsApp messages and emails, work on our laptops and mobiles, we generate an enormous amount of data. As one part of the globe sleeps, the other part starts their day. And it so indeed proves that data never sleeps, right? So with tremendous data being generated every second, it is not difficult to imagine the potential of the many vital insights hiding in the data like gems hidden in a mine. But just collecting enormous amounts of raw data won't help. We need some techniques to analyze and build models to interpret trends, study historical patterns, make predictions, and so much more using this data. So, data analytics can be aptly defined as the science of collecting and cleaning data and then using technology, statistics, and business to find insights or patterns from that data. Once the necessary data to solve any problem or find out new opportunities is collected, the data analytics process begins. So you start playing with data, cleaning, manipulating, analyzing, and discovering trends, making predictions using statistics, different machine learning models, neural networks, and so on. So basically, various statistical and mathematical models along with business domain knowledge are used to analyze this data. The insights drawn from data analysis are shared with business stakeholders visually, and this leads to effective business decision making. So data analytics is also becoming increasingly valuable for organizations and is helping across industries like media and entertainment, marketing, or finance, government, retail, say telecom, aviation, healthcare, education, scientific research, and the list is never ending. There are many different types of data analytics, which we will cover in the upcoming talks. I hope you enjoyed this introduction to data analytics. Thank you.
Hi, now I'm going to answer your trivia question. I asked in the beginning of this episode, when did the software industry start to use the term software engineering? Here is the answer. In the 1960s, the general problem was that projects were running over budget or were never delivered at all. Does this sound familiar? Software development was inefficient and often did not meet the requirements. In fact, before the 1960s, software development or industry was not even considered as an independent service or product. It was always developed and delivered as part of the hardware delivery. But the application crisis, or simply the software crisis, was one of the major topics of discussion in the 1968 and 1969 NATO engineering conferences. These conferences not only discussed the issues prevailing with the software development, but also led to treating software development as an engineering process. That led to the term software engineering, and it is attributed to Mr. F.L. Bauer. So this was the trivia question for this episode. In the next episode, I'll come up with another trivia question. Thanks for being part of this episode. See you in the next episode.